dedicated 7 decades duty of service, and we will always be incredibly grateful to her. So thank you
for the day.
And we just hope that her example rubs off on all of us in a little way, that service goes
in memory of the Queen Elizabeth
self,
II.
that integrity matters, that a life
like
of purpose and of
the
faith
Queen's final ride to
that
her
is
final
bigger than
resting
yourself
place.
is, I think, the legacy that she would want to leave to
Please
her country,
subscribe
certainly,
if you
and
haven't.
also around the world. So these are extraordinarily powerful
Rest in
images,
peace,
and the
Queen.
emotions of a family laid underneath all of it as they have gone through this grieving process of their mother, grandmother, and grandmother to an entire nation. At 2:30 Eastern time, your time back home, 7:30 p.m. London time, she will be officially laid to rest with a private ceremony in King George Memorial Chapel at the Windsor Castle, and will be buried with her parents and her sister and her late husband, Prince Philip. And then after the funeral service, there'll be 2 receptions, one with members of the royal family at Windsor Castle, after the procession from the Westminster Abbey to St. George's Chapel at Windsor, and the guest list of that is just heads of state from the Commonwealth, some key UK allies, such as individuals from other countries. And then an in-church house. That will be in the church house, I assume, for other leaders, senior government ministers, and diplomats. Just in the center of this church, a little history. The area that they walked over is where Henry VIII and Jane Seymour are buried, just to give you a sense of how much history is in Windsor Castle. They're also buried with the only son of Henry VIII, Edward, and we think of them and all of the, the sort of torture that existed over descendants and making sure that there was an heir. And there's the Queen's cousin walking out. These are both the Queen's cousins. And Prince Michael of Kent looks like George V. And all of that.
Nice to see Sarah Ferguson there with her daughter, Beatrice, who's obviously been reconciled to be invited today. And also Earl Spencer, Diana's brother, apparently was at the funeral with his wife.
Right.
We all remember, of course, his blistering speech at Diana's funeral, where he spoke about her blood family, looked accusingly at the royals. So a bit of reconciliation going on here with quite a few people that have had issues inside this family in the past. And you wonder, we saw the Duke and Duchess of Sussex leaving there to go to the burial, whether it can be extended to them and what they may need to do to warrant that hand of forgiveness. So a lot to look out for.
Zara and Mike Tyndall, Princess Anne's daughter, and their daughter. These are all the cousins of Charlotte and George and Louis as they head up here. And it's, you look at some of the riffs. There was so many covers of all the newspapers and magazines here in the UK. One of them today was a picture of the Duchess of Windsor and Queen Elizabeth, and it said the Queen's power of forgiveness. And perhaps some of that can be felt, and perhaps there is room for forgiveness and for healing, and perhaps there's room for Harry to find his way back to his family eventually.
Well, the country's been unified today, there's no question. In a way, I've not seen this country be unified for a long time in such numbers. And the big question now going forward is, can the royal family itself achieve unity with some of these very deep rifts which have developed in the last few years? And they are extremely deep, some think irreconcilable. But I know the Queen, and certainly in the Prince's case, their mother Diana, I'm sure, would want them to try and find a way through this, because when you see them together, it's a very powerful symbol of this family. And when you know that they're not talking and there's this huge war going on behind the scenes, it makes everybody sad. So I hope they can find a way through this.
Well, William and Kate really rank high in the popularity polls. I mean, they are looked on as the real future of the British monarchy and a symbol of the next generation and what is yet to come. And, we want Charles to live a long life like his mother did, and like most of the individuals in his family did, even his father. These are Princess Margaret's children by Count Lindley, and then behind in the black hat is Lady Sarah Chatto, who was one of the last people, I think, to have dinner with the Queen that week. They were very close because obviously Margaret and Elizabeth were very close, and they're their children as they leave. It's interesting to watch them all walking up the walkway there, and you just sort of imagine that it's time to kind of take their shoes off for the first time in a long time, and you know, relax a little bit after what has been a very exhausting and I'm sure highly emotional and highly celebratory, all kinds of emotions in the
But
film.
imagine also having to go through 10 days of mourning this beloved figure in your family, the matriarch of your family, with the entire world watching every minute of every day. I mean, extraordinary pressure really on so many of these members of the royal family. And I think they've all conducted themselves actually with extreme dignity.
How do you feel now that, I mean, it's technically 12 days since she passed away?
Yeah.
Is it true they don't count Sundays, or is it because she had 2 days originally in Scotland before it moved to London?
I'm
Either
not
way,
sure how it
but
works. I mean, I know
how do you feel, though? Are you...
I mean, it hasn't felt like a long period of time. It's felt like it's sort of raced by. I think that what I felt was I've always felt in the back of my mind that when the Queen died, it would be 10 times as big a story as some people seem to think it would be, because of the enormity of her reign and because of her superstar status around the world, which I always felt was underrated. And I think what we've seen in the last 10 days is an absolute establishment of Queen Elizabeth II as the single biggest star in the world, getting the send-off that her magnificent reign deserved. And I'm delighted for her that the world, I think, has shown her the respect that she commanded.
It's reassuring to see someone of such substance get so much attention, and although I think for some people it might feel like it has gone on a long time, she had a long and highly productive life as monarch, the longest reigning monarch after Louis XIV, the funeral of Queen Elizabeth II. And with that, some final thoughts from Piers Morgan and Ainsley Earhart as we are joined once again by Bill Hemmer and Dana Perino.
God bless. Thanks
back
for
in
watching.
New York. It's been good to be with you.